So there I was, crying in my car outside Target because I had just spent 2 hours buying supplies for a homemade Halloween costume that I had promised to make, even though, other than surgical scissors, I could barely do anything with those. All of while simultaneously trying to close a six-figure deal on my phone and attempting to plan a friend's surprise party. Why? Because I thought I had to do it all. Spoiler, the costume was a disaster, but the deal did go through. And it taught me something pretty important about this whole doing it all thing that you and I are obsessed with. Hey there, ambitious besties. Welcome to Lead with Soul, the podcast for women leaders who are done with overcomplicating success. I'm your host, Meghna. Today, we are going to talk about the biggest lie we keep telling ourselves, that we can and should do it all. You know what's funny though? We all know logically that doing it all is impossible. Like, we're not out here thinking we can literally be in two places at the same time, right? And yet, how many of us have tried to cook a healthy meal, be on a client call at the same time, exercise while we're answering emails, plan a team strategy session while we're getting our nails done, and then my personal favorite is multitask during meditation. Make it make sense. Let me tell you a story about my rock bottom, my doing it all rock bottom moment. And trust me, it's both horrifying and hilarious. Picture this. Last month, I'm trying to launch a new program, plan my best friend's bachelorette party, keep up with my intensive 16-step skincare routine, train for a half marathon I signed up for while I don't know what I was thinking, learn Spanish because Spanish is such a fun language, and I needed a new hobby, I guess, and maintain my reputation as the always available friend and mentor. Want to know how that worked out? I sent an email to my Spanish teacher about my marketing funnel. I used face mask as hair conditioner. And then I showed up to my friend's bachelorette party, the planning meeting, in running clothes because I thought it was training day. So here's the thing about trying to do it all. We're not just trying to do everything. We are trying to do everything perfectly. And let me tell you why this is actually hilarious and not in a funny haha way. Let's break down the 4 big lies we all tell ourselves about doing it all. Lie number 1, everyone else is doing it all. Okay, let's talk about Sarah from Instagram, right? You know Sarah, she's running a 7-figure business. She has 3 kids. She has perfect hair, and apparently she makes homemade organic baby food while she's closing deals. Here's what I found out when I actually met Sarah at a conference. She has 2 assistants. Her husband is a stay-at-home, highly involved dad and parent. That perfect hair? It's a very expensive wig. And the baby food? Her mom helps her with most of everything. Now, I'm not throwing shade at Sarah or anybody else out there. She's brilliant for building a support system. But we are out here looking at her highlight reel and thinking we need to do everything that she's doing and something else, right? Line number 2, I just need to manage my time better. Let me tell you about my brief but intense obsession with time management apps. At one time, I had 3 different calendar apps. I had 2 task management systems, a color-coded Google Calendar, and 3 paper planners for aesthetic purposes, obviously. And you know what happened? I spent so much time managing my time that I actually had no time left to do anything. Here's the truth bomb. You can have the best time management system in the whole entire world, but yet there's only 24 hours in the day, right? And we still got to sleep during some of those. I know, I was shocked too. Lie number 3. If I don't do it, it won't get done. Worse, it won't get done right. This is my favorite lie because it's the one that really strokes our ego. We tell ourselves we're the only ones who can write that perfect email, create that perfect presentation, organize the perfect team meeting, choose the perfect coffee maker for the office, whatever it is. That is on your to-do list. And meanwhile, we are drowning in tasks that someone else could most definitely do. They don't need to be done perfectly, or maybe they don't need to be done at all. So let me tell you what happened when I finally let my team handle our social media. The world didn't end. What? Our engagement actually went up. And I got 5 hours a week back that I was spending trying to perfect every single caption. Lie number 4. Doing it all means that I am successful. That's a big one, isn't it? We have somehow convinced ourselves that our worth as leaders, as women, as human beings, is directly tied to how many things we can juggle all at once. Here's what I learned after my great burnout of 2023. Success does not mean doing everything. It means doing the right things. And sometimes the right thing is deciding not to do anything at all. Let me share something vulnerable. Last week, I turned down a speaking opportunity at a major conference. The old me would never. But you know why I did it? Because I realized that I didn't actually want to do it. I was only considering it because I thought I should. And I also really, really wanted to spend that time with my daughters before they go off to college or on projects that I actually care about. So what do we do instead of trying to do it all? Here's what I am practicing, and trust me, it is a practice. Number 1 is the hell yeah or no method. So if it's not a hell yeah, it is a no. This includes client projects, speaking engagements, and those weird juice cleanses that your best friends keep trying to push on you. You know what I mean? Number 2 is the evolution revolution. Ask yourself, am I the only person who can do it? Delegate. Can it be delegated? If it can, do it. If it can't, maybe it doesn't need to be done. Number 3, permission to suck. It's okay for the car not to be cleaned, for us to not be DIY queens, for me personally to not be amazing at Excel. Thank goodness for my husband who loves a good spreadsheet, right? So here's your homework, because I'm still that person that's going to give you homework. This week, I want you to drop one ball, not a glass ball, a rubber ball, or one that is not going to shatter. Stop doing something that you absolutely don't need to. Identify your non-negotiables. Say no to something without giving an excuse. Just no. Full stop. And let me tell you how this has played out in my life. I stopped trying to be the always available friend, the always available mentor. I hired a cleaner because apparently success does not mean that I have to scrub my own toilets. I let go of my dream of being a DIY queen, right? And I started focusing on stuff that I am actually good at. So you know what happened then? My business grew. My relationships got stronger. And I stopped having meltdowns in the Target parking lot. Before we wrap up, here is your permission slip for the day. You don't have to do it all. You never did. And anyone who tells you otherwise, we just don't need to. Thank you for joining me for today's episode of Lead with Soul. If you're listening to this while trying to cook dinner, while answering emails, and put a face mask on all at the same time, put down at least 2 of those things. Just pick one. I believe in you. You got this. Come find me on Instagram at Meghna_Dasani, where we can continue this conversation about embracing the beauty of doing less. And yes, sometimes my posts aren't perfectly curated because I'm busy actually living my life. Next week, we will be talking about work-life balance and why it is a myth. Trust me, you do not want to miss it. Until then, remember, doing it all is a lie, and the sooner we stop trying, the sooner we can start to actually enjoy what it is that we do choose to do.